Hey everybody out there in the YO universe, this is Survivor 2002 coming at you again with yet another recap for So You Think You Can Dance, and now we are on week 4. Wow, time is just flying by really fast, but probably not considering that they're going to segue right into a new season as soon as this one is over and done with. So let's jump right on into our lineup and talk about what happened last night. First of all, was Jeanette and Brandon with a cha-cha designed by Team Genero to Hush 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 by the Pussycat Dolls. Number 2 was KAYLA and KUPONO with a SONYA contemporary number to Eyes on Fire by Blue Foundation. At number 3 is one of my personal favorites, Evan with RANDI, of course. They performed a piece designed by JOEY Dowling, who's new to the choreographer lineup on the show. It was performed to The Rich Man's Frug from the soundtrack for the 2005 revival of Sweet Charity. 4 was Caitlin and Jason, who did a very out-of-this-world pop jazz number designed by BRIAN FRIEDMAN to the song Creator by Santigold. Number 5 was JANINE and PHILLIP, who's also a crowd favorite. They did a piece designed by Napoleon and Tabitha, and the last name is Dumo. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Not Dumo, as some smartass is probably going to want to pronounce it. But it was to Kanye West's Love Lockdown. At number 6, we have Melissa and Ade doing a beautiful classical ballet piece, a Pas-de-Deux designed by Thordal Christensen, who's also a new choreographer to the show. And this was to the Prokofiev suite from Romeo and Juliet. Let me see if I can get this right. It's number 1, opus 64B, 6th movement. And I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of the orchestra, and I think it's the conductor. And last but not least, at number 7, we have a new partnership, KAYLA and Vitolio, which resulted from us losing Jonathan and Asuka last week. They got to team up with Team Genero again, so they did 2 pieces for this show, with one of what, like they said, is one of the kisses of death for this show, the quick step, to Putting on the Ritz by Rufus Wainwright. So now we've got that out of the way, let's go back over and do the commentary. Okay, first of all, Jeanette and Brandon started the show off with a bang. That was definitely one of the best cha-chas I think this show has had in ages. It was brilliant. And I don't see them being in trouble at all. Now, Brandon's reaction to what Mia said is going to be controversial for a lot of people because it's like, okay, this is so fake. But we have no way of knowing what was going on backstage between those two, although we do know that there was a lot of animosity between Mia and Brandon at the very beginning of the season. I don't think Mia was that easy to persuade as far as what she thought about Brandon. I don't know if what she said last night suffices in the way of an apology, but maybe she was speaking from the heart. Maybe that was true what she said about being so hard on the people that you think really have a talent that can be nurtured and turned into something spectacular. And Brandon definitely has the chops, we already know that. But I'll just take it at face value and say that I believe what Mia said, even though the moment seemed kind of conveniently placed for the right dramatic effect, but then, hey, it's reality television. So, moving on from that. KAYLA and KUPONO. Okay, SONYA did a magnificent job with this piece. Like Nigel said, you can see all the Interview with the Vampires / The Hunger / True Blood / any other vampire thing you can think of. Anyway, they were surprisingly good with that. And the piece was very clearly defined as to what SONYA was trying to say with it. And they performed very well together for a pair that's only been together for, I guess this is the 2nd week. But I don't think that KAYLA and KUPONO are in any danger of being in the bottom 3. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Now, here's something I'm going to say that I think will be pretty controversial for a lot of you out there. This could possibly be the very first week ever that Randy and Evan end up in the bottom three, and I don't think it's their fault. My BFF and some people that I converse with quite frequently back and forth on the message boards on the web, it really gets under their skin when choreographers do not own up to their own responsibility for designing pieces that are just not exactly on par with the dancers that they're given to work with. And I think in this particular case, it's definitely true. I don't know who JOEY Dowling is. Obviously, there's a friendship between her and Mia that's been going on for a while, but I'm going to have to say that I did not particularly find this piece very well put together. I understand what Nigel said about how you can blame the choreographers, you can blame the dancers, but they've got to work together and they've got to do the best they can and do a top-notch job with whatever they're given on both sides. I didn't really particularly care a lot for this piece because it's supposed to be a homage to Fosse. Now, the danger working with a piece that's based on movements that were designed by someone as well known as Fosse, you've got to pretty much be very clear about what elements you're going to take and mix in that are his versus the things that make it distinctive to your own style, so that people know, oh wow, this is cool because there's a little bit of Fosse here, but there's some new stuff here that I've never seen before, so that must be what JOEY put in. I wasn't seeing that. I mean, they could nitpick about the wrist action not being fluid enough, blah, blah, blah. You need flexible wrists. A lot of Fosse's choreography came from the core. And I think you can see that even if you're not a dancer, but you've had a lot of experience watching musicals, studying dancers, and having some exposure to that. And I just don't think that JOEY Dowling did a really good job of delineating where Fosse began and ended, and where her contributions began and ended. And I think Randy and Evan suffered for that. And I find that very, very disappointing. And of course, the judges panel is not going to say that, especially since both Mary and Mia are dancers and, well, maybe not now, but they're dancers and choreographers as well. And they're going to be a little careful about stepping on toes of their colleagues, especially on the show, people they have to work with, and not just on the show, but in the dance world itself, because it's a very, very small community. But having said that, I'm afraid that this may land Randy and Evan in the bottom three for the first time. If it does, I don't think they're going to be in any danger of going home. But this is one of those instances where I honestly and seriously think that they were let down by the choreographer, not by their abilities.